Good morning. My name is Caroline from Bubbly Maths. Good morning. My name is Caroline from Bubbly Maths. Good morning. My name is Caroline from Bubbly Maths. Good morning. My name is Caroline from Bubbly Maths. I don't know at what point you start seeing me, so I decided I'm just going to say good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's really good to see you. So today we're going to be looking at 2D shapes. So go and get some paper. I'm going to use some old newspaper. Now, make sure you have somebody older with you. Get some scissors, get some nice safe scissors. I've got these. You get some nice safe ones, or go get a grown-up. We're going to make some shapes just with paper. Some of them we're not even going to use scissors. So go get your paper, and I'm going to just share this quickly to make sure we've got a watch party. Love your watch parties. Love your watch parties. And that way other people can see it as well. So 2D shapes, 2D shape fun. What we're having 2D shape fun for early years. If you're 4 or 5 or 6, then this is for you. Start, boom. Now, I've got to now put a link in because I'm just going to have a quick look at what this says here. Now, grown-ups, if you're there, then what I want you to do is I want you to follow the instructions on this link that I'm about to put in the, did I already copy it? No, I didn't. Here we go. This link here. It's a YouTube link on how to make a tangram, make your own tangram at home. So, whoa, grown-ups to cut away, cut all these pieces out, and then I want you, my early years learner, to make squares and then draw, make shapes together. Like you can make, you can make a square by putting two like that together and then draw around it and make patterns and find ways of sticking them together and then stick that onto another piece of paper, make posters, paint them all different colors and put them together. So see if you can make squares and then grown-ups, you can put them you'll have the resource for the instructions as well. In fact, better than that, I'm going to copy and paste the instructions into this live so that you can help them. But now the little ones, what you're going to do, if you've got your paper now, what you're going to do is, first of all, we're going to fold the paper in half, and we're going to make a triangle. Just rip it, make a triangle. Whoops, even without scissors. So we've got a triangle, 1, 2, 3 edges. And what happens if you open it out? It's a triangle with the same amount of edges. It's a slightly different shape. What is the difference between that triangle and that triangle? How many of these triangles would we have to put together to make another shape? What other shapes can you make with different triangles? Now I'm just going to put the link on for you grown-ups to be able to download. Get to the right one. Ooh, get to the right one. That's not it. That's not it. That's the watch party. Oh, it must be here. No, that's the one from earlier on. And sigh. 3, 2, 1, sigh. I'm always looking for the bits that I need, aren't I? So yes, so now what other shape? Can you make a square? Can you cut out a shape with 4 sides? 1, 2, whoopsie, 3, 4. Whoops, that's not very square, is it? I mean, a square is supposed to have straight edges and all the edges are supposed to be the same length. So see if you can manage that. Get some scissors with your grown-up and cut a square, and let's see if you can make all the edges the same length. Now, I know that's not quite straight, but it's not bad. That's more or less a square. Now, what about a rectangle? One where there's still got corners like the corners of a room, nice and like it's called a right angle. Now we're going to make one which is, we can just do it by folding. to make a rectangle isn't a square. So that's a square, all the edges are the same length, and that's a rectangle where all the edges are, two of the edges are the same, and those two edges are the same, and they're nice, and the edges are square, they're right angled. There we go. So now I've got a rectangle. I didn't need scissors for that one to make triangles, rectangles. What about shapes with more sides? We've got a shape with 3 sides. It's a triangle. We've got shape 4 sides, 4 edges. That's a rectangle. What about shapes with more edges than that? And still haven't got to the point that I need. I might have to just. So you keep making shapes and then take pictures and post the pictures in the group. And if you want to share this, share the live with other people, just click on share and other people can join us. And let me see if I can manage to post the things I've just promised to do. I'll post. So this here, grown-ups, is about to post now. It'll let me. Is the link to the instructions for making instructions. That won't work very well. Instructions. There we go. Instructions for making a tangram. If you've got a tangram at home, go and get it. And this is a great, great toy for early years. Definitely. And the thing is, you don't have to solve the official puzzles. You just make shapes. What shapes have you got? Talk about the shapes, how many edges they've got and stuff like that. That's instructions for making a tangram. And then the other one I said I would give you was, it's completely got, oops. So I've just put the lyrics to Brown Eyed Girl on there. Nothing whatsoever to do with. Oh dear, what am I like? What am I like? I need a producer, right? I'm clearly doing my job to do my best to get somebody to say, you poor thing, poor Caroline, we need to help her. We're going to, and I must have done that on the earlier live as well. Brown Eyed Girl, well, I'm going to leave that there because I think that's a wonderful song and I think you can definitely enjoy that song. And what was the other link that I was going to give you? It's gone. For the moment, it's gone. But that's the one that shows you how you make your own tangram, and then you can just get all those pieces and between you work out what shapes you can make. You've got the triangle there. What would happen if you did it the square? What happens if you put it that way? What happens if you put it this way? And experiment and see what happens if you add other bits on and see if you can actually make a square. And oh, that's right, I remember now, I was going to actually copy and paste the instructions for you. So to give you ideas on what you can do right, whoopsie, right now. Oh dear, dear, dear. Can do this. There we go. Copy and now paste. And then you're going to see lots of other ideas of what you can do. So you've got it written there. So somebody comes back later. So you will be cutting out 7 pieces to give them to the children. Make a square with the 7 pieces. Draw a square around it, around the square frame. And then take the pieces out and then work out how to put them back in again to make the square. So you take them out, make them all into a big mess, and then put them back in again. And you can demonstrate being a bit systematic. So putting 5 pieces in and then you put 5 pieces in and let them finish off the puzzle. And what else have we got? And if they find it interesting, just keep doing different things and making different shapes. And then you can, one of the things I love doing is using all these shapes, is go ahead and make lots of shapes, and making them with scissors does make them look a bit better. You can paint them, color them in, and literally create a poster, a creative poster using triangles, squares, and that shape there. What is that shape? Let's see, what is this mysterious shape? Here, I've got one here somewhere. Now, I've got a question for you. Can you say Tyrannosaurus Rex? How many times have I asked you that? Loads of times. Of course you can say Tyrannosaurus Rex. So you can say trapezium. Trap, 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 ease, ease, easium, trapezium, trapezium. That's the name of that shape. I shall put that in the comments as well. Trapezium. Now, if you are in the US of A, you might call it a trapezoid. So I will put that one in as well. But this is for I'll say for USA. For USA trapezoid. There you go. So that's really it. I want to see your posters. Please cut out triangles and squares from a square. And now that we've gone through that, actually, I will show you now so that you've seen it here. But I didn't want to be doing that because the young learners can't just do that. It's up to the grown-ups to do that part. So I am now going to activate the visualizer, visualize the activator, activate the visualizer. And I'm going to show you now live again. I don't know if it's exclusive, but certainly me doing it, Caroline from Bubbly Maths exclusively showing you how to make a tangram live on Making Maths Fun for kids of all ages. Can't believe I posted Van Morrison's Brown Eye Girl. It's a beautiful song. Right, now I've got to find the visualizer. Where's the visualizer? Find the visualizer. You don't have to look at me anymore. You can look at the visualizer. Now, no scissors. This is the great thing about it. No, and I must remember to actually share it. No scissors, hands only. Isn't this wonderful? No, wait. Not what I meant to say at all. I meant to say no ruler. We don't need a ruler for this. We're going to do it completely by paper folding. So we're going to take a corner and fold it, not in half. We're going to effectively make two identical triangles. Now it's important to line this up just right where this vertex here is exactly bisecting. We started off with 90 degrees. I'm saying this to the grown-ups. The right angle, we'll cut the right angle in half so that this is 45 degrees. That's super important. So that's now effectively two triangles sitting on top of each other. We don't need this bit here. We're going to fold this over. You'd be surprised how many teenagers do not know, young people these days do not know how to make a square out of a rectangle. Okay, if I've got that right, yeah, that's just about right, just about on that line. I'm making sure that I'm following that line nice and precisely so that we have a good tangram at the end of it. It's not the end of the world if the tangram isn't too precise. It's just easier if it is. Okay, so we now have a square, and that's going to be the size square that you're going to make. You're going to draw around this on a piece of paper right now, draw around the outside. So that's the square that we're going to fit the puzzle inside, at least the first puzzle that we were talking about, and I'll demonstrate that in a minute. So now that we've got that line, we want to know where the center of the square is, and the way we can find the center of the square is by folding. But we're not going to fold it in half. I'm not going to actually push down and make a crease along this edge. I'm only going to make a crease at the point of intersection there, just right there. So that now we have the center of the square marked, and now we can take one vertex, it's not with a line on it, it's clear vertex with no lines on here, no creases on it. Match that to the middle, and now we're going to mark that. Now we have a nice triangle, a right angle triangle. Cut that out, make sure that children are safe with their scissors. It can help to actually draw that line, mark the line and then draw it with a ruler, so it can actually help to make sure you follow the line well. And now we are going to now place that down there. We're going to fold this in half. Look at that shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a pentagon. It's not like the pentagon that you normally see. It's a different type of pentagon. You can turn it around, it's still a pentagon. It's got 5 edges. It's got straight, flat 2D shape, closed 2D shape with 5 edges, 5 straight edges. That makes it a pentagon. Now we're going to fold that in half, so it's even got this a symmetrical pentagon. Because if we fold it in half, we have 2 identical shapes. Now what shape, if we fold it in half, what shape have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we've got a quadrilateral. It's not a rectangle, it's not a square, and it's not any of those other types. It does have 1, 2, 3, 4 edges, so we call it a quadrilateral. Now, we're going to cut that now down that edge there. No, we're not. We're going to cut along here. I'm going to make 2 giganormous, enormous triangles. Now, if you could make a template with this out of cardboard, that's an easier way to play the tangram anyway, if you cut it out of cardboard. But with that template, you can then make lots and lots of these shapes. And what I love about these shapes is that you can indeed make a poster. For an early years learner, you can just make lots and lots and lots and lots of these shapes, which they can then combine together. And what's beautiful about them is that you can combine them, the edge lengths are matching. So you can really combine them together to make lots of different types of shapes and be very creative about it. And if you have lots of them, they're all the same shapes, but you'll be able to combine them together to make some very interesting pictures. So now we have 2 large triangles, and you can see, you can compare. If you want to know if those 2 edge lengths are the same, well, you can check with this edge length, that matches that. Okay, that we know that to cut it in half. But does this edge match this edge? Oh my goodness, yes, it's the same edge, same length. So this triangle has 2 edges the same and 1 that's different. It also has a right angle, that's like the corner of the room. So it's a nice right angle there. So we've got 3 triangles, and now we've got, that's not the bit. Where's the, oh yes, yes it is. Yes, this is our bit, this is our bit that's left. So now I'm going to take the long sharp bit and just fold it right along its own edge until we get to the center, back to the center of the square that we started with. Fold that over. Now we've got an even smaller triangle. And what shape, when we cut this next bit out, what shape is it going to be? I've got the triangle. There we go. And we'll add that to these triangles. They've all got the same angle. They've got that nice black corner of the room. And they're all, you can check to see if they're all the same length or not on these 2 edges. And they're all just bigger versions of each other, look. So what shape am I cutting out now? What shape is that? How many edges has it got? Grown-ups, I will be calling them edges, vertices, that's a vertex, and that's an edge. Edge and vertex. So what shape did I cut out? We can check to see if it's a square by folding it in half and seeing if all the edges are the same length. You fold it in half in all different directions, you can test to see if all the edges are the same length. And finally, this is going to be a weird one. Let's see. We're now going to take, we're not going to take that one, we're going to take from the really tiny pointy bit, we're going to come down here and take this one and fold it over to there. So I'm going to cut this triangle out. What shape do you think is going to be made by the piece of paper underneath? How many edges do you think it's going to have? What shape is it going to be? Let's see. Be very careful with your fingers. Have your older sibling or grown up do this with you. Now I've done something wonky here. This is something very wonky. This is not supposed to have a funny bit on there. So one of the other pieces is also a little bit wonky, but we can just, the more we do it, the better we get at it, so we can practice doing it. So now, with that square that you made, you've now got to find a way of putting them all in. So you can actually start by helping. You do have the crib sheet to help you. Now let me see. Do you remember how we made it? Remember how we made this one? We had a giant, I don't remember how we made it now. It wasn't a square, it wasn't like that, was it? Is it like that? Is that it? Did we cut that bit out? Did we cut that bit out? Ah, I think we have it now. There it is. We cut that bit out and then put that there. Match. And then what you can do is you can place these before your early years learners, get it started. And now, let's see, what else do we have? Do you remember we had a larger piece here that was there, and then we had a trapezium here. And how did we make the trapezium? We had a square, and we had a triangle, and then we had, leave these two for you to put in, or maybe it might be easier to leave those two and put the trapezium in place there. And now finally place these two bits. So that's a game you can play, is you place all the pieces except two, and you can keep placing different pieces, and then the young learner can place the last two pieces and just keep playing that game. That's a nice little game, but you do have to cut out the pieces. Or if you've got a tangram, then use that. That'd be absolutely fine. But now that you've got all these pieces, I've been cutting out tangrams for the last, I've had 4 or 5 sessions with this now. So I've got loads of tangram pieces. Their dimensions are all the same. I've even got the rectangles. I'm not going to, well, you can use those if you're creating art effectively. Looking at the shapes, but the reason why, well, I suppose that would match there, and that edge there is not going to match anything else, which is why I wouldn't be using it. That's why the tangram is lovely, because all the edges, every single edge has another edge it can match with another parallelogram, and then different colors, paint them, and make a lovely poster, make shapes of whatever imagination-y thing you come up with. So let me now get back and stop the share. Hello. And you can just create a poster and take pictures and put them on the group. Making maths fun for kids of all ages. Let's get loads and loads of lovely pictures on there of all the activities that you've created with your tangrams that you now know how to make yourselves. Maybe I'm sad, but I was really excited when I learned how to make the tangram. So, right, so I've got, in case you've joined later, we do have instructions of ideas to do, of how to implement this. There's a link to a YouTube video of how to cut out the tangram, which I've done at the end. And there's a link to Van Morrison's Brown Eyed Girl, which I put on by mistake. And I thought, well, I'll leave it there because it's rather lovely, and why not? And let's just go and see if anyone joined us on the live. Oh, hello. Sabino, hello, my brother is here. Hello. Hello, Terry. Hello, Andy. And hello, Terry again. Thank you for joining us. And please do comment and send in pictures of all the activities that you've done with these lovely tangram pieces. As I say, remember that it's the fact that the edges are the same that makes it so magical. So you can really combine them together to make a shape that tessellates. So thank you for joining us. If you are on YouTube, please do subscribe to our YouTube channels. That's Maths Toys, and the link for that is the link with the instructions for making the tangram. And then there's the Bubbly Maths YouTube channel. Please check that out. You've got lots of ideas on making massive balloons and soap bubbles, and all these lives are being uploaded there. And then there's and please, if you like the lives that we're doing on this group, please do share the group, share the lives, and tell everybody about it. That would be amazing. Thank you so much, and I will now endeavour to find a place where I am live. Thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow, the same time. That's 10 o'clock London time. This is an early years live that we do, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to say goodbye, good night, good evening, good day, good day. That's actually good evening in the good day land at the moment anyway. And bonsoir, no, it won't be, well, it depends where you are. It depends when you watch this. It's really good to see you. We've got people from all over the world in our group, which is absolutely wonderful. Thank you. See you tomorrow.